join maybe later or not? Yeah.
Hasn't responded yet.
No, he hasn't responded yet. So we'll just get started anyway. Maybe it's good that we jump right into it because I don't want to waste people's time. And David, maybe you can perhaps a little bit highlight and discuss your proposal, which we all have read, but still maybe you want to give a little bit of more background to it, and then we can discuss it.
Sure, thank you. Well, first, one of the things that I did is that the things that I added, I used like a specific color so you can see that I added. Maybe that'd be good that each one of us could use a color so we can see who's adding stuff to the document. And
Sure.
Just to see who's working on it or something. Um, so I had a very busy week, but I tried to start to think about the things we could do. And I saw the document and I saw that we were very advanced on some of the topics. So I just added a few things, and the things that I just suggested is to start a pilot. I suggested to do it in two groups because we uh, are targeting kids from 13 to 18, but I think it's very different. Um, we have it's a very different audience, even though they're all young people. But I think we could spread it in two, maybe we make two groups, one from 13 to 15 and the other one 16 to 18, and see how it works. So my idea is basically start a pilot with 10 kids from group one, which is a 13 to 15. I'm suggesting to do the pilot to do what month? 1 month. Um, and having two sessions per week, 2 hours each session, which will be a total of 8 sessions and 16 hours by the end of the month. And finishing with a field trip, which will be held on the last Saturday of the month, and it will be like the first test. And I'm suggesting to do on the second month work with a second group, which is from 16 to 18. So at the end of both months, we can see which one was better, to see the reactions, see how it works, to see if we need to change something, so we can work with this one of these groups and maybe do one together. So I think it will be a good way to test it. Not somewhere.
Can I ask a clarification question? You said, so assume group one, bless you, group one, kids from 13 to 15. So you say, do I understand correctly that you say that group has a session of 2 hours on Tuesday and a session of 2 hours on Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, in general, that would be like the amount of hours that I'm suggesting. I mean, we could.
No, I just imagine a 14-year-old kid. How many sessions does he have?
Well,
in a week?
Well, it will be two of 2 hours.
2 hours.
Mm.
So but then it's not two sessions of 2 hours each week. Then it's one session of 2 hours each week.
Well, I'm suggesting to do it Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, but
Two session.
We're misunderstanding each other.
Yeah.
I'm asking that 14-year-old kid, does he have two sessions, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday?
No, I mean it's the whole group from the guys from 13 to 15.
I understand.
Yeah. So the only thing that I'm suggesting to do have two sessions per week, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 hours each. Will be 4 hours total per week.
Isn't that a lot?
Isn't that a what? Like
that sounds like a lot of time.
Yeah, we can still change it. I mean, it's nothing written in stone. So if you suggest to do it less,
I want to understand you. Why you put it there?
I don't know. I was just trying to put some times because I mean it's gonna be quite intense because it's only 1 month. So I don't know. It depends on how many sessions. I mean, usually kids they go to I don't know swimming lessons or whatever lessons. They usually go 3 times per week. They usually go like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Uh, and I'm saying like 2 hour session, but of course with a break and introduction and all that kind of stuff. It can be less. I mean, it can be less.
Okay.
Sure, but why 2 hours? Is it too long? Like for this hangout, it's 2 hours. For us, it's okay, but for kids, maybe it's too long. Why do you put 2 hours, David?
I don't know what just a suggestion. I think 2 hours can be enough to give the theory and do the practice,
Mm-hmm.
and of course having a break. But again, it doesn't have to be 2 hours. It was just a suggestion, so we can just change it.
Yeah, sure, of course. But yeah, we would like to understand why 2 hours. What is the content? What is the outcome or the intent behind this? As you
Yeah, of
say,
course.
it's really intense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think we need to start to think what kind of topics are we planning to give, and that way we can see if it's gonna be too much or too less time. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was just shooting in the dark because I didn't know what to expect. Like for example,
Sure.
I'm a teacher. I teach to kids at university 4 hours per week, two and two,
Okay.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not 2 hours, 4 hours. It's like an hour and a half because of the introduction and the practice
Mm.
and everything. So maybe I use that as a model, and I don't know. Yeah, but I know the topics that I need to teach, so that's why I can say, oh yeah, I'm gonna have time or it's less or more. So I think we need to start from from the beginning and see what kind of topics we're trying to give, and if it's to see how much hours we're gonna need. So yeah,
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
suggesting times, but I don't know
Okay.
what we're teaching, so I don't know if it's a little or if it's much.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
Jorge, have you any thoughts?
No, no, I'm good.
So why don't we add? It's good. Yeah, you need to get somewhere started. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong or right about it. And thanks for doing that, David. It's really helpful, especially based well, you're working with people in well a little bit older, but you know how it works. And I agree. It takes time to get settled and started and whatever. So an hour is not much. So I understand that. Um, Maybe we said in our last call that it would be good if we have each month a certain theme.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe to make it more interesting, I'm not sure because again it's 4 hours each week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that we could get a theme per week. What do you think about that?
Sorry. Can you repeat what
A
you?
theme per week?
A theme per week.
Per week or per month?
No, per week. Because you have 4 hours each week, which is a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have, like I said, in the last time we discussed, let's have a theme per month, but then you
Mm-hmm.
would have 16 hours on one theme. I think that can be too much. So that's why I'm suggesting in this setup to do a theme for per week, which is still then with that theme you will discuss for 4 hours, which is still a lot of time. Or maybe a theme for 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm typing as we speak on the Google Doc. But for
What's
instance,
David's
David, on
thoughts?
which topic do you? Sorry.
David, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be done, but still, I think we need to. see what kind of topics we're trying to give to see if it can be fit on a 1 month program, or if it can be spread like maybe 3 months, or do like these different kind of sessions. I don't know. um, yeah, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, so it's 4 hour. In 4 hours, you can do a lot around just one particular theme. Even if you do it for 2 weeks, it's 8 hours, which is huge. Yeah, 8 hours is a full day. Yeah? So
What I want to ask to David is on which topic are you teaching these days with your student, for instance?
Well, I teach political marketing and I teach communication. That's
Okay.
for the whole semester. I have 2 classes, um, so I need to see that topic in different units, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I teach.
Are you focused on social skills or emotional intelligence skills, or you also include digital literacies, for instance, or digital skills, with social tools or little?
No, I'm more focused on the knowledge and the basics, theory stuff from for example, the political marketing is only like the theory of it, and I try to do some practices after each class. So I give like the first half hour maybe. Then at the end we maybe see a video, or we have a case that we need to solve, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
So
Jorge,
then
what do you think about the number of themes per week, per month, per 2 weeks?
Um, I mean, well, I think it depends on cognitive ability. I mean, if I do it on my own, I mean, I'm just taking myself as an example. Um, you know, I could do one per week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 topics or 4 new themes a month, and I think that's pretty common for people like us, who need too much. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's like basics. It's like going to the bathroom, right? I mean, it's normal, but for other people it might not be there. So maybe 1 topic a month is enough for them to cram their minds into it.
Mm.
There's
That,
also the topic of structure.
why I'm proposing the middle way and say, why don't we have 2 topics per month, which
Yeah,
is still eight hours per topic, which is still a lot.
that's fine.
Okay.
So let's go for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to work this out a bit further. So which topics?
Yeah.
Already Rotana already started doing that. So which topics do we think are good ones? Because we need to put some very attractive topics to get people into the department. Yeah. Have you thought about that, David?
What kind of topics you mentioned?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, um, well, I think we already wrote something here. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm putting like something like farming, beekeeping. I don't know, something that could be fun for kids. Not especially business topic, for
Yeah.
instance.
Well, that is why I would like to add Jorge's favorite, drones.
Ah, great. Yeah, kids like this. Yeah, 3D printing. I don't know,
Yeah,
topic that are really fun.
I think that instead of talking about topics, I think it will be better if we talk about skills, and then having like a lesson that can develop that skill. Like for example, we're talking about observation. So today we're gonna develop the observation skill, for example, and then we can just build the class or presentation or whatever is going to develop that skill.
And then we can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can use, if it's going to be observations, you can talk about, well, let's choose the topic of drones. So without having somebody who's an expert on drones, let's turn ourselves into experts of drones by using observation. What do you want to know?
Exactly.
So then you start focusing on something specific about it, and you start, coming up with questions because you're observing instead of receiving information from somebody who already knows it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think we need to do a list of all the skills that we want to develop. Select, I don't know, like 8, or because it will be like 2 per week, and then having a topic or something that could develop that skill. And we can
Okay.
add technology, we can add all the, I don't know, entrepreneurship, I don't know, environment or whatever
Hmm.
activity that can develop that skill.
So I think we already have skills because we already share the innovation DNA skills. So I'm putting it on the Google Doc, but
Yeah.
that's what you say. Share with start with observation, for instance.
Hmm.
Uh, then networking, as connecting the dots, critical thinking, and then trying, experimenting. And as you both said, through the topic that you will explore, you will develop or we will guide you for developing these skills. Is it
Yeah.
your idea too, David? Or you want to start with each skill or several skills?
Hmm. Um, yeah, so we have right now observation, networking, association, questioning, experimentation. Mm. Another thing that I was thinking also yesterday when I was doing this thing, it's like what is the result that we're trying to that we're expecting from the kids? I mean, what is it that we're trying to
Yeah.
get from them? Because I mean, we will develop these skills, but why? Why are we trying to do that? Just for them to become better students, or for them to become better children, like sons or daughters? Or
Uh,
we want them to create an impact in societies for something specific. Um, I think we find that why we will be able to develop those skills because we will
Well, the
find
why
that.
part we discussed many times, and the why
yeah.
part is basically around addressing the skills gap, and yeah, because we know our education systems are not providing the skills and the qualities and the character traits which are needed in this day and age. So basically, why we're doing that is we give them the, yeah, the content for them to be much better prepared for the future.
Yeah, just put again the intended outcomes that we wrote down. Transform hopelessness into hope. Navigate your own life. Uh, so it's there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that you just said, Arnold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it clear for you, David?
Yeah,
It's in
but
the
I mean
Google
like,
Doc.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like for example, when I teach political marketing, so I give them all the topics that I'm going to give them during the semester, and I have this like sort of a challenge or competence test right there. It says, okay, at the end of semester, you are going to learn how to have to be a publicist in political marketing, at least know something. So I was just really trying to have that phrase or that sentence that says, these kids who go to this tri lab are going to become this. I mean, the result, what are we expecting for them? I mean, it could be better students, be better citizens,
Okay.
to do what? Because otherwise, for me, it's just like another talk that they're going to go to. And also because on the other thing that I wrote, I was suggesting we could do like a follow up to
Mm.
have like to the pilot, to the first 10 kids that we have, to really get to know them, to see how they are right now before they go to the TriLab, see how they are doing through the whole process of the TriLab, and interview them maybe 3 months later to see the result and see the change. I think that will be a very, very good way to see the impact or the results of our program. And maybe interview the parents, interview the siblings and teachers and everyone around the kid to see the impact that they had. That way, if we have that result that we're trying to get, we will have something to compare at the end of the 3 months and see, okay, this kid changed in this way, and this kid is doing this, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think that's an excellent suggestion because
yeah.
it makes it kind of measurable and also makes it easier for our future marketing if we can say, hey, we produce these results. Yeah, so I like that. So I think um, yeah, again, it's what we discussed with them is that they become the master of their own destiny, that they create their own life, that they create their own businesses, that they are capable of doing something meaningful. All these things. Yeah, I think that is critical because that's not what they're taught at currently in school and whatever, and that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll start it here. It's like, hmm?
Yeah, David, we discussed last time. I recall that students or participants to these activities or kids can become teachers, facilitators, or as you just said, better citizens. I don't know if they can have an impact in the world, for instance, in contributing to the world in different projects or any activities. That's what I put to in what I sense on what you just shared. Yeah, Arnold is putting other words too. Being able to do meaningful work, uh, be more entrepreneurial. So I frame it like what the impact could be through joining and doing a tri-lab
Yeah.
sessions. Uh, then on the how of the follow-up of each of the sessions, yeah, I share with you something like badges that Mozilla is doing these days. For instance, open badges. Do you know this ways of measuring or evaluating and
No, I don't know.
having?
What is it, Rotana?
I'm just describing it too, but it's a way to reward and to recognize kids other than certificate, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the link. I will explore more this, but I think it's a smart and great way to also include that. Maybe David know this because he's a teacher. Do you know this, David? Open badges from Mozilla.
No, I haven't
Okay.
heard of it.
I have heard
So
of it.
okay, I'm putting in the how part. No, it's the wrong link. Let me check. But yes, I'm seeing this in education and in the learning industry. So because there is a lot of discussion around: do I have to get a certification when I finish a MOOC or finish B school or universities, whatever you want? But is it the right way to recognize and to see the value of kids when they finish whatever activity you want? How do you re-engage them, motivate them in the beginning? And it's
I,
part
I,
of them.
I think the main thing, what we discussed and whatever, is that it should be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
at the moment it's fun, and I think giving people certificates, badges, rewards, good notes, thank you letters, it's all not providing the right behavior.
yeah. I will
Because
explore more
it
this
is
topic, but
again, it puts a distance between the person who judges you and the person who's being judged. Yeah. And if you're okay, you get a label, you get a badge, you get a good note, you get a certificate. I think that's the old model. For me, the model is that I know for myself that I learned, that I had a good time, that I made friends, that I made an impact. Whatever. That should be uh, the real reward. Yeah?
yeah, of course. But yeah, I will see what it is really about. But Because David shared something in the Google Doc. How about gamification techniques or practices?
Yeah.
So, and again, is we talking about fun or gaming or whatever you want, because learning is playing too. Yeah, I put in the Hangout chat this link for the wiki of Mozilla Open Badges. Maybe we can consider that if it's meaningful, as you just shared, Arnold. It's not the old model as you shared.
Yeah, I do understand the point that Arnold is saying about not having like a grade
Yeah.
or top of the class or something like that. But I think we could add some gamification techniques, at least to engage the students. I mean, that's the main reason why gamification started, because they're trying to engage people. Like, for example, I think one of the main issues that we will have with kids is for them to finish the whole program. Because maybe the first week we're gonna have all of them, and then in the second week some of them might not come, and at the end on the program we might finish with one or two. So I think that's something we need to avoid. I mean, I'm just guessing, right? But I'm assuming that the, that will be the hard part for all the kids to finish the class. Um, so I think we could add this methodology or these techniques, gamification, to have them engage and for them to continue. I mean, and games are fun, and gamification is all about that, be fun, and and earning your own badge, your own reward, your own whatever. I mean, that's why it became. And just as an example, the documentary that I suggested, I mean, he was talking about when he was in primary school. He said that where at the school that he was attending, he said that they didn't have grades, they didn't grade kids. It was just fun, experimental, and fun and everything. But he didn't know that he was a good student until he moved to another school. When he saw that everyone was getting grade and everything, he noticed that when he knew that he was a good student, because before he didn't know. Before it was only fun and games and experiment. So I think we need to find a balance between both. Because I mean, not all kids are like that guy or like us. So I think we still need to focus that we need to develop those skills. So I don't know, that was just my idea.
Sure. Yeah, my thought on gamification, I'm not a specialist on this topic, but if we would like to include...
I've done gamification, and so has
Okay.
Pepe.
Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think there's a very thin line in how to use it, how to approach it.
That's my point. Yeah. treat people, even young people, as adults. Because sometimes you are not adults with this gamification techniques or practices or tools, whatever you want. So yeah, be careful with that. Because we saw that, we can notice that too in HR world, for instance, or in corporate world. There is a lot of discussion on that. So yeah, let's explore that and see. So then we come back to the skills and topics. Which topic is appealing and fun and hot too these days for kids?
Robotics.
Robotics, yeah.
I was already adding self-driving cars.
What else?
Anything to do with space flight.
Yeah.
With what?
Space flight.
Oh yeah, the hyperloop type of thing.
Well, yeah.
Sport. What about sport?
Sports, yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Video games or virtual reality.
Yeah, VR. AI. No.
AI. Yep.
What else? Which topic do you like, David? For instance, for me, it's swimming. I like swimming, but yeah, I can put that too, maybe. It's in sport, but yeah, which topic do you love, or do you share with your students, David?
Art.
Art. Yeah. Yes, cinema.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think we have already a lot of topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the things that we also uh, talk before is right now people are so immersed in this digital era,
Yeah.
but they're forgetting like the basic stuff. Like, I mean, I remember that Arnold mentioned it, how he met someone who was without his GPS and couldn't even read a map. So maybe that's why I'm saying about developing skills, the skills of logic and everything. No,
Mm.
and so we need to be very careful with the technologies that we're using, because I mean VR, AR, everything sounds so cool, so fancy, so new and everything. We really need to make sure that we're using it to develop the skills that we want to develop.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
otherwise, they're going to be just like any other robot that has, or any other kid robot that's being taught in school. So we need to make them be different, not just someone who knows how to program, or someone who knows how to code, or
Yeah.
someone who
Mm.
knows how to fly a drone. So we need to see what skills we're trying to develop and match it with the topics that we're talking about, and make sure that those topics are developing those skills.
Yeah, very good point. Very good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now we have to kind of restrict ourselves. Otherwise, we're too much into what is interesting tech and whatever. But it's not about the
Mm.
tech. It's about the behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
and it's about trying. I mean, what if one of the kids wants to be a dancer, and what if one of the kids wants to be a photographer, but they don't have a chance to try? So I think we need to give the. That's why we need to focus on developing skills, so they can find their own way
Yeah.
and be the leaders in their own life.
Yep. I
Yeah.
agree.
So I added that to the intended outcome. There's some behavior change. There are new skills. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You develop the love for learning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I still see in front of me a matrix where you have in one end of the matrix are these topics, and so those are on the vertical bar, and on the horizontal bar we get the specific skills or qualities which we want to train, and then in the matrix, in the areas, we fill out how we're going to do it.
Yep.
Am I making myself a little bit clear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a table, yeah, where
Okay.
vertical the topics,
Okay.
horizontal all the skills which we want to learn them, and in the boxes the approach.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
do that. Um, no. Yeah. David is muted.
Yeah, but I'm still here.
Okay.
So it's something like this, and then here you will put
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah.
And
Um,
each of them, so like here we have drones, yeah, and like here we have
okay.
observation,
Um, okay.
networking, association.
Yeah. It's I can copy paste this that. Okay.
Yeah,
You have
well,
it.
does it fit then in the right box? That is the challenge.
Yeah. I don't like this. Maybe we can change the format. Let me see. Landscape.
Well, we know what we want to do, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, all these topics are possible hangout that you are doing too with Rore. For instance, you have done online private
Yeah.
banking, but it can be on drones, on any topic. Basically, I think we discussed that in previous hangout. It's will be a mini version of what we are doing right now, offline or online, where you can develop all these skills that we are developing or we develop through this topic
Yeah.
collectively. That's it.
Yeah, and that's the way you frame the challenge. So maybe you also need a framing and a briefing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where also the scenarios that maybe Rore will share that he developed that we can also introduce to later.
Yep.
So I can copy pasting this topic. Yeah, just start to fill the everything as you want.
No, you don't need to do it further. It's clear. Yeah. I think now the structure is clear. What we want to do it, how we want to do it, blah blah blah. But I think now let's assume that the content is pretty clear, although it's still you have to work out the right challenge or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, like Rotana is just saying, it's just a matter of framing it, communicating it, and doing it, and then give people assignments or whatever. Yeah. So assume that that is ready. Now the big question is, okay, this is all nice. How do we get people into these? Assume that we get started in Tijuana. Yeah. How do we get people? How do we get? How many kids were there? What were we saying? So
To group.
two groups, yeah, but 10 kids each. So we need 20 kids. Yeah? That's quite a lot. So how do we get them interested in this?
First put session and date and facilitators behind this.
Yeah, well, that's going to work, but still you need to get their attention. So, David, have you any thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think well, after, like you mentioned, after we have it already set and built and everything, we can maybe do it, maybe even the previous part, we can validate the idea, maybe with some parents interview. I mean, we're focused on the kids, and we interview some kids and young people and everything, but we're going to focus on these kids from 13 to 15, being the first group. Maybe we can interview the parents and see what they're worried about, because that way we will know how to sell it to them. Because maybe they're worried about their education, maybe they're worried about money, maybe they're worried about the kids' future. So I think we could find those specific things that they're worried about, so we can know what message to tell them when we go out and sell it, and also to see how much would they pay for it, to see if they're okay with all the mini sessions, do they think it's too much, too little, to see if the topics that we're talking about, they feel they're relevant or something like that. I think we could validate that part, and after that we can build a marketing message or the sales pitch to go out and look for these kids. Now,
Oh, yeah, you're making a good point. What we're now forgetting, and I think we're now at that stage because we said it was co-creation, a co-creation space. Yeah.
yeah,
and
Yeah.
and we said, okay, we need somewhere to get started, and so now we need to bring in a couple of these young kids to co-create. So that's why I think we should stop with putting stuff in there and say, hey, and now we should engage some of the people out of the target group and say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. What are your ideas and thoughts, and how can we do this, and how can we make this happen?
mhm,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think then it's extremely powerful because then we have a starting point Yeah, otherwise the discussion will go, well, we will do what we've done for the last few months over again. But now we have something to get started and say, hey, this is a kind of a framework. What are your thoughts and ideas around this?
Yeah, and also because we have already discussed the skills that we want to develop and the issues, so we just need to validate that part and see how we're going to develop it. So that's the point you're saying. So,
Yeah, but also maybe they want to learn something else, or maybe they want to experience something else. But so let's be really open to it.
yeah, definitely.
Jorge, any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
You're good. So I think that is now the next step. So instead of trying now to finalize it, we should not finalize it. We should now have a couple of kids where we can say, hey, we can discuss this with, and see what their thoughts and ideas are in a real open way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about as a next action step or whatever, that each of us tries to engage some kids out of the target group and ask these questions, yeah, or just have an open discussion around this. Yeah, for instance, what I can do is, because Claire just approached me, I can approach Claire and say, hey, please, well, maybe I can, well, I have to be there. I can discuss with Claire and her children, which are both of them in the target group, yeah, and say, hey, this is what we come up with. Well, please share your feedback, ideas, thoughts, blah blah blah. Yeah. So if each one of us does something like that, yeah, then for instance, each one of us tackles just 2, 3, maybe whatever kids. Then if we bundle it, then we get with the 4 of us, we have 10, 12, 13, 14 kids, their input, which is I think very good input. Is that a good suggestion?
Yeah, so it sounds good. But just one question before. So are we trying to build a whole program before that, or just do that?
No, I think we should stop at where we are now,
Hmm.
and just discuss this document kind of thing with them, and see how they react, what their thoughts, ideas, how they want to see it, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not co-creation. Otherwise it's just, this is what we want to do, and and, yeah, and just take it or leave it. Yeah, it should really be around an open format, an open discussion. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think we're now in a phase where we can have that discussion. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we take as an action item for each of us that we try to, well, as far as possible, to check it with a few kids, and then come back with the feedback next week.
Sure.
Sure.
Jorge, you're muted, so I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Then I think that's it for today. Are there any other things which we need to discuss?
The scenarios, maybe, of Jorge. Yeah, David,
No.
sorry. Okay.
Well, I put it in the document. I just found out that one of my friends, who's an investigator at the University in Monterrey,
Mm.
he's working on some moonshot methodology, and I saw
Okay.
it in the document. So maybe I can ask him to see if he has some ideas or something. I mean, I haven't talked to him about this, so maybe I can just maybe once that we have it a little bit more advanced, maybe see if he wants to help us with that specific topic or something like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing and see if we can use his expertise.
Yeah, well, it's very good input. It's maybe it's helpful. We don't know, so please do. Yeah, really good suggestion.
Yeah.
Sorry, what is a moonshot MOOC?
Well, basically a moonshot. I think it was Gary Hamel. I don't know who coined the phrase a moonshot, but the moonshot is really doing something completely different than what's done now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, for instance, you have an organization where there's one leader, and then there's an organization where everybody is his own leader, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
He has in his books something like, for management, something like 12 moonshots, yeah, where it says these things really need to change in the area of management.
Okay.
Well, yeah, please do. I think it can be extremely valuable, because if you get a very good approach, then we could use things out of that. So please go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. And also, I mean, he already has this whole methodology, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't like to reinvent the wheel if there's a real great wheel. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Well, maybe we could also ask Pepe, because
Yeah.
Pepe, that he also and he has kids of himself, so that's for him even the most easy.
Yeah, and also as Jorge was saying, maybe they can help us to
Who?
see Pepe and Jorge, to see if they can help us with this gamification thinking that we're saying. Maybe to see if it's doable, and see what they suggest, and maybe they can build something around it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Very good.
there is also Romina, no?
What?
Your friend Romina is also a teacher, is it correct?
Well, yeah, he's an investigator. He has a PhD in robotics,
Mm-hmm.
and he does a lot of research, and he has a couple of startups of his own, and he also teaches at university.
Okay.
And by the way, I just posted a video. It's a 3-minute video from Google that explains the moonshot thinking.
Thanks.
Okay, cool. Okay, I think we're done then for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
I'll set up the next meet. I'll set up the meeting for next week.
Sure.
Huh?
You will send the invitation to us for next
Oh,
week.
by the way, I might not be able to make it next week because I'm going to Vegas for the collision event. So I might not be there, but I will try to do the interviews or something added to the document.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Who will communicate with Pepe?
I will.
Okay, very good. Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay, guys. Have a good one.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.